How's it going, folks? It's been a little longer than I had hoped. So during this quarantine, part of the issue for me has been we had a feature film plan to shoot, which is still by and large on schedule. Everything's been pushed back about a month. So the film that we're shooting is a very low budget creature film about demon space rabbits, right? So the puppets, all kinds of practical effects because that's what's in the budget, and that's kind of what my background is a little bit in as an artist and that sort of thing. So that's what I want to do is mostly practical effects. And so when pandemic thing hit, the quarantine issue, that set us back because I can't have, I don't want to say can't, I absolutely could. I won't have giant, sets filled with people because that's not smart. In the last few weeks, what I've started doing though, since they're starting to lax some of the restrictions on that and say it's a little bit safer, is I've started filming kill sequences for my film just with one or two people though. So you have a set with, at most a half a dozen people that are pretty well spread out, usually less than that. We did one last week that was, it was last week that had 3 people, including myself. So I've rewritten part of the script to kind of allow me to do that so that we can start getting some footage in the can, because I'd like to have all of this shot by the time summer is done. Because assuming everything kind of goes back to the way it was, who knows, I'm a teacher, and so going back to school, it's just easier to have everything done, at least in shooting, over the summer with principal photography of the actors. And then I can focus on doing special effects shots and editing and stuff later on and take a little bit more time on that. So we're planning, though, the first big shoot is going to be in about a month. And it's really the most important shoot weekend of the entire film because I'm trying to get all of the scenes with all of my principal actors together in one weekend. So there are sequences where they'll go off and get killed individually or whatever, but all of the sequences with these 4 people together in one place, I want to get in one weekend. That way I respect their schedules and mine, to where I don't have to try again to schedule around work schedules and everything for 4 people to get everybody in one place at one time. I don't want to say if it makes sense. It does make sense. If you've never done this, that's one of the most important things to do. The biggest problem with independent productions in general is just getting people to show up. You can do a lot with no budget. You can do a lot with minimal equipment, okay? But getting people to commit for no pay is difficult. But I'm also on the other side, where you can't really get mad at people for not showing up if you're not paying those people. So, this is all a voluntary sort of thing, people coming out and helping as they can, and that's awesome. But if people are no-shows, it's frustrating. It really is frustrating. It complicates things and it's aggravating. But also, people have lives. They've got to work. I can't pay people a bunch of money. So if they've got to work to pay bills, how do I get mad at that? Last minute, people calling in last minute, they can't show up. That does kind of irritate me. But, a few days ahead of time or a month ahead of time or a week ahead of time, they're like, hey, listen, I'm on the work schedule this week. I got to work, or something came up, whatever. We work around it. So you have variations of the script, right? So anyway, I told you I'd say this. There's low budget production I've been working on. Mostly it's puppets. The rabbits are puppets. There's a scene in the movie. I don't want to ruin it for anybody already, but I don't really care. There's a scene in the movie with little baby demon rabbits, right? So I had this idea, again, very minimal budget. I had to make lots of these little things. So how do I do that? So I went online through a Chinese party supplier and got these, right? Little shark chompers. Everybody's seen these before, and they've got the handle that you pull. Very simple. Cord pulls this down, spring holds it open. Okay. So I'm taking one of these, and I'm using paper and masking tape and acrylic caulking, acrylic, just like you use in windowsills, to form, a little bit of wire, like this, right? So now I thought it was really funny, you have these doing this thing, right? So we're working on the wire hands. It's just tape, and then I cover the whole thing, give it some texture, and then we'll end up adding a little bit of fur and painting it. But when the thing's in a scene where it's just like been born or whatever, they'll be covered in KY jelly. So, they're going to be all gooey and chompy, and if we pull it off. I say if, we're going to do it. It's just how effective will it be? So, this entire film, the idea is you can do a lot with a little. We've raised less than $1,000 so far. So, with people volunteering to work on the film and that sort of thing, that's been an adequate budget to shoot with, really. As far as what we need, I had to order some equipment, which was almost all of that. There was, if I was going to do this, there was some equipment I absolutely needed, and the 2 scenes that we've shot so far, I'm so glad I did, because it really did make all the difference having like a basic lighting kit. It's like $150, and there's tons of options in it off of Amazon, and it's, again, cheap. There's whatever, but it also offers a lot of options there. That sort of thing. There are other things I had to order too, but that was one that was really come in handy. Audio equipment was the other, because I didn't have a lot of that. So like an audio recorder, better boom mic, but also it went into supplies to make the puppets and stuff with. So anyways, end of June, I'll feel a little bit better about things. We're getting there. But that's kind of where we're at right now on everything. After we get that big day done, everything else after that's just picking up pieces and putting together. Most of the rest of the film can just be shot with 1 or 2 people at a time, which is great, because then you can work around one person's schedule a lot easier than multiples and that sort of thing. So, and then I can focus on special effects shots, which is really what I want to do, because that's where my background is, and that's what I enjoy. So anyway, that's it. What we're working on. Hope this was a little bit of an update, and have a good evening.